Well, all eyes are on the White House, where US President Donald Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will sit down next hour for a scheduled high-stakes meeting focused on ending the war in Gaza. The president pushing for Israel to accept his 21-point plan that provides a roadmap for a ceasefire and post-war governance of the enclave. He is voicing optimism that there will be a breakthrough. The Prime Minister says it is still a work in progress. Have a listen.
Well, we're working on it, Jackie. It's not been finalized yet, but we're working with President Trump's team, actually as we speak, and I hope we can make it a go, because we want to free our hostages. We want to get rid of Hamas rule.
Well, Hamas, for its part, says it hasn't received the proposal. Well, a quick reminder on the key points of this plan, according to our sources. First, it calls for the release of all hostages held by Hamas within 48 hours of the agreement. It provides a framework for the future governance of Gaza without Hamas and for Israel's gradual withdrawal from the enclave. The plan also recognises aspirations of a Palestinian state. It does not, however, promise any US support for the creation of one. Well, CNN's Elena Treen live at the White House. Those are the sort of three top lines. There are 21 points in this plan. What are you hearing from the White House ahead of, and let's be quite frank about this, this is a really crucial meeting at this point?
Absolutely. It's very high stakes, and it's actually Netanyahu's fourth visit to the White House. But this is the one I know from my conversations with White House officials that they are hoping they can actually get this plan approved, at least by the Israeli Prime Minister. And that was really the question I had posed to the White House press secretary, because, look, I mean, they are having, yes, they're going to have this bilateral meeting and a bilateral lunch. As of now, that's expected to be behind closed doors. But then later this afternoon, Becky, they're going to have a joint press conference. That signals to me, just from covering the president for so long, that they are expecting to have good news to announce. I think it's the clearest signal yet that they are really expecting Netanyahu to get on board with this plan, or at a minimum hash out the differences so they can deliver that type of good news when they address the press this afternoon. But that was really what I had asked the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. I want you to listen to her response. The press conference today with the Israeli Prime Minister, it signals, I think, that he's expecting there to be a deal announced, or at least that Netanyahu is going to accept the proposed plan. Is that the hope that the president has today?
Look, the president knows and believes that this is as good of a plan as these sides are going to see. And that's why it's 21 points. It's very detailed. It's comprehensive. The president has been working tirelessly on this. He speaks to, Prime Minister Netanyahu all of the time. Of course, he's in constant correspondence, but he's also taken a lot of time to speak with our Arab partners and allies in the Middle East.
So a few things I want to point out there as well. One, of course, is you could hear that optimism. She essentially is saying she thinks that this is the best type of plan that both Israel and Hamas are going to get, at least that the Trump administration is involved in. And what she also said was, that they are talking with their partners in the Middle East. That's important as well. We know that the Qataris have also been heavily involved in these discussions. The president was slated to speak with the Emir of Qatar before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived at the White House. Still very much unclear whether or not that call has happened just yet. But all of this comes also, as we're hearing from Israeli sources, Becky, that Netanyahu isn't entirely on board just yet. We're hearing that he still has some reservations. There are some changes he wants to make to this proposal. So we're going to really have to wait and see what is hashed out behind the scenes. But I can tell you, again, from my conversations, they really are hoping to have some sort of good news on this when they address the press later today.